So we just got a surprise trailer that was completely unannounced for both Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokémon Legends Arceus. We got a bunch of new information and looks at the gameplay for both of those games, and I did a reaction to both of the trailers already earlier today that you can check out with the card on screen if you haven't seen it yet. In this video, I'm going to be going over the trailers a little more closely and analyzing every little detail that we just got and presenting to you guys some of the most interesting ones that you need to know about if you have any interest at all in these games, because all of these are not only noteworthy but extremely fascinating as well. So without further ado, let's just hop in. So there is actually a ton of interesting info that comes from this new trailer reveal that actually comes from the website as opposed to the trailer, and a ton of it isn't really even specified at all in the trailer, so it's just another reminder that the website's always a good place to go look. Anyway, starting us off is something that a lot of people have been talking about, and that is that Kleavor, the new boss noble Pokemon as they're called in Legends Arceus, is actually an evolution of Scyther, believe it or not. It seems to be another Hisuian regional variant, but as the website states, it is an evolution of Scyther that comes as the result of Scyther being exposed to some unique minerals in the Hisui region. I thought this Pokemon was pretty solid looking already, and I also want to point out that I created a mock-up of what I thought this might look like as an April Fool's Day joke earlier in the year, and I actually ended up kind of close. If Kleavor was not a bug type and was like a mammal, I think I would have hit it right on the head, so I'm low-key proud of myself. I'm not even gonna try to hide it. But speaking of Kleavor being a bug type, it's actually a bug rock type, and overall I just think it's just way cooler that it's an evolution of Scyther. I already did think it was pretty solid and cool looking in general. The fact that it's a Scyther evolution is freaking amazing. Another thing that comes along with the reveal of Kleavor is something that's kinda seemed to be the case for a while now, but it's just consistent with this new reveal, so it's all the more likely, and that's the idea that abilities might not actually be present in Pokemon Legends Arceus. And this is because all the Pokemon that we have seen to this point, both in the trailers and on the website, have not had any abilities specified about them, so it seems they're going unmentioned because they might not be in the game at all. Which I know might be a bummer to some people, but for me personally, it brings up an interesting prospect of maybe this is before the time when abilities were known to be within Pokemon. Maybe it's before that discovery. And so I think from a lore perspective, that does present an interesting idea, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And since we're talking about Kleavor, another thing about this new Pokemon is that it was revealed with the title of a noble Pokemon. Noble Pokemon are apparently very strong and special Pokemon that are basically like overworld bosses in this game, and the fact that they have an official title like noble Pokemon and aren't just general overworld bosses says to me that there's going to be more of them than just Kleavor. So we probably have more new Pokemon that are also noble Pokemon to look forward to than just this guy, which is obviously extremely exciting. It's also mentioned on the website that the bag that we see the player character throw at Kleavor to calm it down is known as a balm, and it's basically what you're going to use to combat these raging Pokemon since it's made out of their favorite foods, and it'll basically be the way you can calm them down and eventually defeat them. There is one specific kind of balm we see in a screenshot on the website that is known as a forest balm. Another thing that is very interesting about Kleavor that one of my commenters on my reaction mentioned, so shout out to the person on screen right now for bringing this up, but the aura that we see that surrounds Kleavor when it's kind of enraged is vaguely shaped very similarly to Arceus's ring that it wears around its stomach and back area. So that implies some kind of possible connection to Arceus. So is Arceus doing this to these Pokemon? Is is it making them enraged? There was already a lot of speculation that the red-eyed Pokemon were being made all angry by Arceus, and those Pokemon were actually confirmed in this news drop on the website to be known as alphas, and Arceus is the alpha Pokemon, so I definitely think there is a connection between these Pokemon and Arceus for sure, and it makes you wonder what it could be. My first thought was that maybe Arceus doesn't like the idea of humans coming to the Sinnoh region, coming to Hisui and trying to populate it, and it's trying to drive them out with its Pokemon with these Pokemon as its tools. I think that's a very interesting idea, but we'll just have to wait and see for sure what the actual story entails. Another new element to this game is something known as a Warden. A Warden is a new kind of character in this game that basically is looking after special Pokemon in the Hisui region, like Kleavor for instance, and Wyrdeer and Basculegion, these Pokemon that are extra significant within this game, and a lot of people have brought up the idea that they could possibly be the equivalent to gym leaders, since they're obviously significant characters that also have something to do with the plot and the story, and they all care for a specific Pokemon. It is confirmed on the website that they are battleable as well, so that not only confirms trainer battles in this game, which is nice, but it also kind of adds to the idea that they might be the gym leader equivalent. And if they are, that would likely mean that there would be 8 of them, just like there are 8 gym leaders in every game. And therefore, that could mean that we could see as many as at least 8 brand new Pokemon that would serve as the ones that they are all watching over, or at least around 8 new ones, which is pretty awesome because the ones we've got so far have been freaking fantastic. Another thing about these Warden characters is that several of them are very clearly related to other characters we have met before and are their ancestors. For instance, Mai is very clearly related to Marley from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and Leon is definitely related to Clay. As you can see, they have basically the exact same hat and a very similar hairstyle. And this one is especially just mind-blowingly cool because Clay is obviously from the Unova region, not Sinnoh. So this would imply that Clay's family and his lineage are originally from the Sinnoh region, and he traveled to Unova at some point in time. And it's also kinda possible that maybe Clay's hat is Leon's, and it's like a family heirloom since they look so similar. That just makes Clay as a character so much more cool and is just such an awesome concept. Meanwhile, another one of these Wardens is known as Arezu. She's very clearly the ancestor to Mars, but even more interesting is the fact that her name is an anagram of the word Azure, as in the Azure Flute. So she is definitely going to be related to that in some way, and the Azure Flute is most likely going to feature in the game in some way because of this, which is extremely awesome. I swear, this game just keeps getting better and better. It also says on the website that Arezu cares for a, quote, certain lady Pokemon. So that basically confirms that another new Pokemon is coming that we have not seen before, and one that is probably of the feminine variety. It could be anything, honestly, but it is possible that it could be that climbing Pokemon that we saw in the leaks from a while back when the game was first revealed, since we have not seen that Pokemon yet. A new item called the Celestica Flute was also introduced that's going to appear in this game that is basically your method of calling the various ride Pokemon that include Wyrdeer, Basculegion, and Hisuian Braviary. The very interesting thing about this item is that not only does it play the Azure Flute theme, but its name also implies that it comes from Celestic Town, which makes a lot of sense since Celestic Town is kind of the cultural, historical center of Sinnoh, and it's also obviously going to tie it to the story in some way, and possibly to the Azure Flute itself, so I am very much looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. Another new item that is pretty much only mentioned on the website that is extremely interesting is something known as the Arc Phone. Now, the fact that there's a phone in this game, given it's in the past, is eyebrow-raising enough on its own, but it also has a distinct visual similarity to Arceus, and the website mentions this. It also says that this phone has a strange power, even though it just seems like the basic item you get that would contain your map and your Pokédex and different things like that. But we also know that it's not going to have the Pokédex, because we know the Pokédex is this distinct little book that we've already seen previously, so we know it's a separate item. It seems to contain, at the very least, a region map based on what we see on the website. So overall, the big question here is, how is a phone existing in this time period? We know that Game Freak can take liberties, and we know that things like the Pokeballs, even if they're basic in nature, are present here, so it's not like completely out of the question, but it seems out of place at the same time, and apparently it has a strange power too, so it just makes this, for as basic of an item that it seems to be, very, very odd and unusual and intriguing, and so we're gonna have to keep a close eye on this for sure. It kind of makes me wonder if maybe it comes from the future somehow. Could that be a thing? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Another mechanic of this game that was only mentioned on the website is something known as Pastures. This is basically going to be the replacement for the PC box in this game, and it's where your extra Pokemon will go once you get a full team of 6. And it looks like you'll actually be able to see your Pokemon visibly within the pasture when you go to pick them up and put them in the pasture, which is really cool, and I kinda hope that you'll be able to see all the Pokemon that you catch, because just having a giant pasture full of tons of Pokemon would just be really cool. It is also mentioned on the website that the ride Pokemon like Weirdeer, as well as the nobles like Kleavor, are said to have a mysterious blessing that they have received. And this calls into question maybe the reason why we don't see these Pokemon in the modern day. A lot of people have speculated that they simply went extinct, but maybe it's possible that this blessing that they've apparently been given that has made them so noteworthy has been taken away in the modern day. Obviously, the word blessing once again brings into mind Arceus, and so maybe Arceus is really pissed that people are in Hisui, and maybe as a result of people inhabiting this place that it wanted to remain sacred and rural, maybe it took away this blessing from these Pokemon, which is why they no longer look this way in the modern day. I think that would be a really cool way to go about explaining it, but for now it's just a theory. Next up, I'm going to get into crazy conspiracy theory territory and talk about something that could be nothing, but it's notable enough, I think, that it's worth a mention, so I'm just going to say it and you can take it for what you think it's worth. So towards the end of the Legends Arceus trailer, when we get to see Kleavor for the first time and the player sort of entering into its domain, we see some signs that sort of signify that this is Kleavor's area, but on the top of those signs are some statues that distinctly look like a Pokemon or a creature of some kind, but it doesn't look like any that we've ever seen before. It has a really unique and original look to it that just doesn't look like a Pokemon we've ever seen, as far as I can tell. So it makes you kind of wonder, is this a new Pokemon that we could maybe be seeing? It does also remind me of the Rhydon statues from all of the gyms in the earlier games that ultimately became this kind of indescript sort of creature that obviously didn't become anything official as of yet, so it could be something like that, but also I could see this being the type of thing that Game Freak uses to sort of hint towards the next generation in Generation 9, maybe, because this is sort of a later Gen 8 title, so I mean, like I said, at least worth keeping an eye on. It could be nothing, but hey, if it does become something, you heard it here first. And now I am going to mention a few details about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because we definitely don't want to leave that game out either, even though there's a lot less to say about it because it is just a remake. First up, though, is the fact that the Amity Square feature is going to be the thing that unlocks the following Pokemon mechanic in the overworld, according to the website. This is good to know. It can kind of be conceived as a little disappointing that you can't just start right away with your Pokemon following you, but it does kind of make sense with this feature already being there in the game, and you get to Heart Home City pretty quickly, to be honest, so I really don't think this is that much of an issue. It was also shown in the trailer that HMs have been replaced with hidden moves that are going to be used through the Pokétch to basically allow you to use these HMs and have them still be present within the game like they were in the originals, but not have you have to teach your Pokemon actual moves that they won't be able to forget. The website, however, goes into a little more detail and specifies that it's actually going to be wild Pokemon that you will call upon in order to use these moves, which is a nice concept, I think, for going about using this feature without once again just bringing back the HM feature in full. So overall, I think this is a nice compromise between having this feature still be present, but not having it be the way it was that a lot of people disliked in the earlier days. And finally is one that, once again, is kind of conspiracy theory territory, but I thought it was really weird. On the website for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it very strangely mentions the Eterna statue that's in Eterna City that depicts both Dialga and Palkia as sort of a combination, and it kind of mentions this and says like, wow, this statue kind of looks like a combination of both Dialga and Palkia, but what's its story? Where does it come from? It kind of is just sort of giving you that eye emoji, and it's like hintity hint hint. That's the kind of vibe I am getting from this, so I'm thinking, could this mean anything? Could they have a combined Dialga and Palkia form or Pokemon lying in wait for us at the end of the game? Because it just seems like a really strange thing to mention just randomly on the website like this, because in the actual game this statue doesn't really mean anything other than being a decoration, and they've also showed it in the trailers significantly too. It was in the very first one, in fact, so I mean, once again, this could be nothing, but I think at this point this might be something to keep an eye on, because this seems kinda sus if you ask me. And with that said, there you have it. Those were some very, very cool details that you need to know about both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Legends Arceus. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and a comment. Let me know your thoughts, all that good stuff. Are you hyped about this new information? And be sure to let me know about anything else you might have noticed in the trailers in the comments below too. Since this is a Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl video, I also want to mention that I'm running a giveaway for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl on my Spotify. If you listen to my Pokemon remixes there, for every 5,000 new listeners I can get by the time those games come out, I'm going to give away a free copy of the games. We're already giving away at least 2 copies, and listening also supports the channel greatly, so it's honestly a win-win for everyone. So if you can do that, it's very much appreciated, and I would like to thank you so much in advance. And with that being said, I will be back with another video very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. I really appreciate it. I love you all, and as always, until the next one, I will smell you guys later.